So, Mom, how much do you love me? Oh, honey! Only from here to here! What's going on, guys? Gigante Props back at it again with what's in my shop. And today we are going to be talking about foam. EVA foam, to spray foam, to dry foam. I'm going to talk to you guys on how I have used these materials in the past, how they've treated me, some of them that are actually pretty easy for beginners, some of them might want to take a little more time once you're starting out. Number one, EVA foam. Now, you can get EVA foam that looks like this, even like this. This is probably the most versatile material that you will use in your props and your cosplay. Now, as you see, this material comes in different thicknesses so that you can stack them in certain ways to get a certain detail that you actually want. Now, make sure when you cut this material or cut EVA film, you have a sharp knife with you. Something like this X-Acto knife. This gold X-Acto knife with the gold blade right there. Make sure your cutting utensil is sharp when you cut EVA foam. Once you are done cutting your material or cutting your EVA foam, you're gonna be tempted to just start painting it on and start adding your paint and start doing awesome freaking colors, but don't do it. Do not do it. EVA foam is a very porous material. What I mean by that is there's many different holes inside this material, and if you just apply the paint onto the material without any protective coating, it will eat away at the foam. So, how do you protect your EVA foam from being eaten alive by your paint? Get some white glue and some water. Apply I'd say around that much. It's gonna be a little thin, but around that much. Then you'll end up with something, oh gosh. Then you'll end up with something like this. This is like it's a little thin, so I'll add a little more, but this is pretty good. And once you have your concoction, use a chip brush or a foam brush and apply several thin layers onto your foam. Make sure after every layer that you apply, it's completely dry before you put on the next one. Once it's completely dry, you can start priming and start painting away. You have given your paint something to grab onto so it doesn't eat away at your material and doesn't ruin your hard work. Number two, spray foam. Every time I go to a hotel, there's a Bible and a foam book. As you can see, this foam comes in a can and it has a straw that you can actually press and the foam will eject. Now, one can goes a very long way depending on how big your prop is. Now, once you apply this foam, it kind of looks like SpongeBob's ugly cousin. You'll be tempted to cut into the foam right away after you apply it, but do not do this. You'll have to wait 5 hours, or how I like to do it, wait overnight. And once you're done with that, your foam is ready to be cut into. And to carve this foam, I personally like to use a box cutter. Actually, the extendable box cutters. The ones that look like this, you know, the one that they have in SNK, like this. I want to have sex with the bees and the eagles. And just like EVA foam, make sure your knife is very sharp, or you're gonna have a hard time shaping your prop into what you want it to look like. This foam I recommend for people who actually like to shape things with a knife and use this for like oblong shapes, like, I don't know, big weapons. Things like Monster Hunter, Dynasty Warriors, Dark Souls. Those big props that you see can be actually carved out by this foam. Now, some cons of why I don't like using this foam. It makes a huge mess once you're done shaping and sculpting your prop. It's very sticky. So why you have to wait 5 hours to overnight is that it's going to harden in that time. And if you don't have the patience, like I do, it's going to stick to your floors if you have carpet and hands and knives, and it's going to be a huge mess and a big headache. So please, if you use this material, have a lot of patience. Once you're done carving, you can apply a protective coat and just go straight to paint, you'll have huge gaping holes in your foam. Now once you're done shaping your prop, you're gonna have huge crater-sized holes in your foam. So that means you can't just fill it all in and then go straight to paint. What I like to do is get some paper mache and cover those holes. Now once you're done covering your holes and then you let your paper mache dry, you can apply some body filler like gesso or spackle, Bondo, and once you're done waiting for those to dry and once you sand it smooth, you can start applying your primer and in your paint. I recommend this process if you want to do a huge prop for very little money, but the amount of time that you spend on this prop is a very long time. So you have to be very patient when you are using this method. Number 3, dry foam. Now this is foam that I've actually just experienced using, and it's pretty alright. Dry foam can come in from something like this, or it can come in something like this. And if you have something like this, you can cut it into smaller bricks and stack it in a certain way, and then start carving out your object that you want to make. Same thing with this, only on a smaller scale. As you see, these come in individual bricks, and you can stack them any way that you want, like this. So you can glue these two pieces together like this, and then wait for the glue to dry, and then start carving out the shape that you want. I've seen dry foam used to carve out handguards, to helmets, to shields, you name it. You can actually carve it out of this dry foam. And just like all the other foams, make sure your blade that you're using is very sharp, or it's going to ruin your final product. This material is very soft, and it can be hand sanded, and just like butter, you will take chunks of it off. If you're anything like me and you have a belt sander, you will be tempted to use your belt sander on this stuff. I really do not recommend that, because if you're new to props or you've never used this material before, you might take too much off on your prop, then you have to start all over again. And once you start getting familiar with this material, you can start using your bigger power tools to take off the bigger chunks that you don't need. Now once you get to the shape that you want, you use your smaller tools to shape your prop. I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you guys are actually deciding on using foam, I hope this video has helped you guys. You can find all these materials at your local hardware store or even your local craft store. Thank you for watching that video. I hope you guys found it entertaining. If you guys liked the video, hit that like button. If you guys want to see more of me, hit that subscribe button. And if you want to follow me on all my social media, the link is in the description down below. Thank you guys, and I'll see you all next week. Peace.